Hello students, now I am going to explain about image. So the definition of image states that when the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction either actually meet at some other point or appear to meet at some other point, then that point is called image of that object. So this was the definition. So what is the definition states? So the rays of light that are getting diverging from a point. Okay, but that diverging rays after reflection or maybe it reflection, the diverging rays may actually meet at some other point or they may appear to meet at some other point. Then that point where these rays meet or they appears to meet after reflection or refraction from a surface, that point is called as image of that object. Okay, so there are two kinds of image. Number one, partial image. Number two, real image. So what is partial image? When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction appear to diverge from another point, then the image so form is called partial image. Okay, so in this case you just mind here that the term appear to diverge from another point. Okay, so in this case, in case of partial image, the rays after reflection or refraction they appear to diverge from another point. That point is called as partial image. Suppose you can see in this figure, this is this O, this is the object. So from this point object O, these are the incident rays and this is a mirror. So from this mirror these rays get reflected. Okay, so these reflected rays are what? These reflected rays fall on our eye. That means you can see you can say that the reflected rays entered in our eye, but we feel that these rays are actually coming from another point. So this point is suppose eye, then this point is called image. So what? That if you draw them in the backward direction, you feel that these rays appears to meet at some other point. So it is said now that after reflection, the rays appear to diverge from another point. So what? You feel that from this point I, you are feeling that the rays are actually diverging from this point I. Okay, but actually no. Actually the rays are getting diverged from point O. So from this point you can see these rays, incident rays are diverging. But after reflection, you are seeing that these rays are actually appear to meet at some other point. Okay, so that point is nothing. It is the image of the object O. So image we have represented as the I and object is O. Clear? So this is the partial image. Now, now next is real image. Okay. So what is real image? When the rays of light diverging from a point after reflection or refraction actually converge at some other point, then the image so form is called real image. Okay, so here suppose AB is the object, this is a concave mirror. From this point A, see the rays of lights are getting diverging. So you see the rays of lights are diverging. The rays of lights are diverging from a point. Suppose this point is A. From this point A, the rays of lights are getting diverging. After reflection, so these are the reflected rays. So after reflection, they actually converge. So you see they are actually converging towards another point. That this is A1. Okay, so this A1 is the image of the object O. So the point at where these reflected rays converge and meet, that point is called the image of the object. Okay, so in case of real image, you mind here that these rays actually converge and meet at some other point. Okay, but in case of partial image, they appear to meet, but actually no, but actually not in case of partial image. But in case of real image, these reflected rays or refracted rays, they actually converge and meet. But in case of partial image, they appear to diverge from another point. Okay, so you can see these rays, these reflected rays are actually coming from here. These reflected rays are coming from here, O. These are the incident rays, and these are the incident, and these are the reflected rays. Okay, but you see that these reflected rays appears to come from point I. So that's it is so called that the reflected rays appear to diverge from another point. So what is the point here? I. So it appears to diverge from another point. That's why this point is called as the point is called as what? Partial image of the object. But in case of real image, the reflected rays actually converge at some other point. So you see these are getting converged. Okay, so this was the real image and that was your partial image. There are some difference between real image and partial image. Actually what happened that the partial image cannot be taken on a screen. Okay, so this is your partial image, you cannot take on a screen, and it is always erect but laterally inverted. Suppose when you look your face on mirror, the image that you see is erect but it is laterally inverted. So now I am going to explain what is lateral inversion. Okay, if you do not understand what is laterally inverted means, the partial images are cannot be taken on a screen and they are erect. You understand? Suppose I am writing here it. So you see I have written it cannot be taken on a screen. Okay, so partial image cannot be formed on a screen. And number 2 is it is always erect but laterally inverted. Okay, so I will explain what is lateral inversion means. So it is always erect and it is always laterally inverted. Next is real image. So real image actually what? They appears to actually not appear, they actually the reflected rays actually converge at some other point, no? And that is called real image. So real image, the real image characteristics are that it can always be taken on a screen. So what real image are? Real image can always be taken on a screen. Okay. Number 2, it is always inverted. You see here, this AB is in the upward direction, but this A1 B1, this A1 B1 is the image of the object AB. So this image is what? It is inverted like this, no? So this is the object and the image is like this. So it is called inverted. Okay. So it is just simply inverted. So this is what? Real image. Now I am going to explain what is lateral inversion. The phenomenon due to which the image of an object turns through an angle of 180 degree through the vertical axis rather than horizontal axis, such that the right side of the image appears as left or vice versa, is called lateral inversion. Okay, so what is this? It is the phenomenon due to which the image of an object turns through an angle of 180 degree. So you see this is the suppose letter here, I have written P here. So this dot line is called what? This is the vertical axis. Suppose this P letter is your object. So when you turn the letter P through through an angle of 180 degree, okay, so when you turn the object through an angle of 180 degree through the vertical axis rather than your horizontal axis. So horizontal axis are like this. So you are not rotating the object on the horizontal axis through the vertical axis, such that the right side of the image appears as left or vice versa. Suppose your left side, this is your right side and this is your left side. Suppose this is your right side and this is your left side. But here this is your right side and this is your left side. Okay. Suppose here is a plane mirror is here. So this is your plane mirror. In between this, then what you will find? Your right side appears as left in the image and left appear as your right in the image. Okay, so you see on the right side become left and left become your right. This is called lateral inversion. Okay, the latter become inverted. Suppose this pen is okay, 1 minute. Suppose this pen is like this. When you keep the pen in front of a plane mirror, then you will find the image will be like this. Okay, so this pen, the image of the pen of this pen become like this. This is called lateral inversion. That means the object, the image of the object turn through an through an angle of 180 degree through the vertical axis rather than the horizontal axis, and in this case right side of the image become, or right side of the image appears as left. Okay, this is called lateral inversion. Okay, so this was the last topic for today.